I'm gonna close this door. Howdy, howdy, howdy! Welcome back to MCubed. We got the whole gang here. We got our Scooby Doo gang going. You know.
This place looks different, but also very similar.
It's almost like I just saw all of us on this other stream or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
I love your background. It looks great. It
does look cool.
The orifice background.
No, this thing.
What?
The stars. It's the side track. It's just side track.
Oh,
yeah,
stars, I'm with you now.
You can add all that when you
hang on. There you go.
Ooh. How do you do
I'm
all
going to
that?
change my virtual background. I'm going to sit in an office. There we go. Oh no, I got piano. There we go.
I forget we can do all that.
This is my house, paid for by Sidetrack. Thank you very much, all the amazing subscribers. Isn't it lovely? Piano.
There we go. I gotta pull the green screen out. No, I'm not gonna do that right now, but it might be fun.
In case you're wondering, I've just given Harris access to the Sidetrack.
I'm having so much fun. It's like overload.
We all realised that we, because we're all like the admins on here, we can comment as MCubed. So, oh, by the way, I'm quitting weed. It wasn't Harris that said that. Yay.
You know, I'm still in the game, Shelly. Don't worry.
We could literally write anything. I'm shaving the beard.
Wow. Oh, shaving the beard. I did not hear beard. I thought you said something entirely different. I was like, well,
I'm shaving my balls.
No comment. That's what I thought I heard.
There we go.
What did Laura say? I thought it was just me.
Yeah, because she was waiting for us.
We take our time, you know. Do it right. We hang out while we can. But yeah, well, I think we've probably read the article already, the WGA versus DGA article. I mean, there's a great Sidetrack video that just premiered about it. Hope everybody's watched it so far. Y'all want to just discuss what are your thoughts on it? Are you worried about it, or are you not so worried about it? You think it's kind of like it needed to happen in a way, I guess, because I know a lot of people that are kind of like, yeah, that needed to happen, but
can you give me the footnotes as to what's happened? Because I haven't watched the video. I was putting my kids to bed.
I can pull up the old article for us real quick and give you the extra footnotes. But it's gonna take me a second to pull up the article.
Sasquatch notes.
Sasquatch. Yeah, it's big feet notes. Let me scroll down super fast.
I love being on this channel because I can smoke.
It is great. Just when we do
I will move my mic away to do it though, because it is quite loud.
That's at last on Sunday. That's how I knew you were vaping, when I cut you out because you'd said something that annoyed me, like you do every single week.
I said you said it was like if Manchester United stopped playing football. I said everyone will be happy.
Yeah, and all I heard was, I don't know what that little git's doing. So I'll tell you what I was told. Anyway, because I don't know which article.
I can't find this article. I'm struggling.
Well, anyway, what I was told was basically the DGA have to ratify this agreement that their negotiators come up with, and that there's a real risk that they're not going to agree it. They're not going to ratify it. So the DGA, the Directors Guild of America, will have to go back cap in hand and go, our members have said no. And some of the directors that I've spoken to one or two people that are actually members of the DGA, but I've also spoken to a very close friend of the channel, who I can't say her name because she asked me not to do.
His name.
That basically said everyone she's speaking to, they're saying no. They're not going to. They want to stand in solidarity with the writers.
Which do y'all think that's gonna like really actually? Is there an echo going on? I'm just sorry. But okay. So my thought process there though is that going to happen, or is it just going to bring the directors back into? Are they actually going to strike, or do y'all think it's going to like push them into just renegotiating? because I guess negotiations are technically up, but they're never up. You know, they're negotiating until they reach a deal. So
my understanding is it would trigger another vote.
Okay.
And they would have to vote whether to strike. I know they have voted to strike already, but my understanding is it may trigger another vote. So,
well, the ultimate goal out of any strike is just to get something they want. If they can reach a deal before they have to strike, then they won't, surely.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm told is the directors are actually quite happy with the deal. And there's a couple of things they've said we're not sure about. And the AI stuff is that they say the AI stuff we don't care about. Directors don't care about the AI stuff because it's not going to affect them for years. They said that's a future problem. We're not bothered about that. And they're quite happy with the money deal. They're quite happy with the deal. But they know it screws over the writers. So they're saying, look, we've completely undercut. We've took the legs out from under the writers here. We've screwed them over. So we can't do that. But what we don't know at the moment is it allowed minority of directors? Directors are actually going on Twitter and doing a thing and actually shouting, look, we're not doing this, I'm voting no. Or is it
probably going to be it's always the loud minority. The majority won't ever be publicly shouting about anything. It's always the minority in any situation, isn't it?
Yeah.
So. Yeah. And in this one, it's like there's the subset of people that obviously are probably part of the WGA as well. They're not just DGA members, they're WGA members. And that's probably the loudest group of people speaking. And it makes sense because they're the ones who want to get paid for doing double duty. They're doing a lot more than the average person on that film set. They should be paid for it, yada, yada.
Of course, yeah, I never thought about that. Yeah, a lot of these guys, they're going to be writers as well.
But there's still 40, 50, 60, 30, whatever percent of the DGA that's not that. So does that really hamper that, I guess? That's the question. And we just have to wait a couple weeks to see. Maybe a week.
Days. They've put the ballot out, so we should know quite quickly.
And then SAG's officially in negotiations as well. So
that starts June 1st.
June 7th, I think, was the day it started. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's going to go. I would think the negotiations of that are going to be like, get a deal with the writers first, and then we'll talk. That would be what I would be doing. A lot of the actors seem to be, again, in unison with the writers. Mm-hmm. So, but the thing is with the actors, and again, actors might be writers. They might be, because a lot of actors aspire
it could still be DGA, SAG, and WGA all together.
I think one thing I said on the video that just premiered was this: it's not the actors who their name that this is really going to affect, because they're on millions of dollars. They're well paid already. It's the 95% of the actors you've never heard of. They're the problem, and the same with the writers. We know certain writers. J. Michael Straczynski is standing in solidarity with this, but financially he's not getting harmed by this. By this break. It's a nice break for him. And I don't want to speak for him, but I'm sure he's still working and he's still whatever. But he's not. It's all the writers that you've never heard of. They're the ones that are actually getting financially crippled by this, and I can't see the strike going on much longer because they're not getting paid.
That's the thing. Like the people that are like you just said, all the big names and stuff like that, they don't have to audition for things anymore. If they're writing for something, they're usually talking to the producer that's going to produce it already. They don't have to go through levels and levels and levels of crap just to get one project out. They're the type of folk that, I mean, they've networked and been in the industry long enough where, hey, we want to do this, it gets done. Or hey, we want you in this movie, we offer you the role. Or it might have even been written for you. If it wasn't written for you, it was written for your character type. And kind of like when She-Hulk was written, not the best example in the world, but Tatiana Maslany was hired as an Alison Brie type, which makes sense. And it kind of sucks for Alison Brie that, is like, well, Marvel doesn't want me, but they want someone like me. Great, But it kind of correlates to all these other studios and how they're working. And it's interesting to see the strike happen. And because I don't kill me, SAG. I'm one voucher away from joining you. But what is SAG striking about? Just for solidarity? I don't think they actually have that much. I mean, definitely like AI and just like I guess the big thing that should be on their minds is AI in the sense of like where Luke Skywalker's coming back with us nowadays. It's more deep fakes, where Bruce Willis just signed his likeness away because he's can't act anymore and can't remember things. So he said, "Okay, here you go." There's a movie with James Dean coming out. I think it could be this year, next year, or it's supposed to come out sooner than later. But
I'd have thought they'd always be a gimmick, though, wouldn't they? I mean, it's like when they brought Peter Cushing back for Star Wars. I mean, that was relevant, but it's even though deepfake is becoming much, much better. I mean, just look at the difference between the first Luke Skywalker and the second Luke Skywalker.
Oh yeah,
infinitely better. A year apart and vast difference. But it's still horribly expensive.
Yeah.
So you're only going to do it for relevant storylines. I mean, the sad thing is we're going to be getting Terminator for the rest of our lives. Whether Arnold Schwarzenegger dies or not, he will be back. And Bruce Willis got another Die Hard movie. But I can't see a future where they regularly use deepfake or CGI to do these things because it's just it'll always be more expensive than just having a person.
But
I don't know. I think costs of it will eventually go down. Look at as models. So I'm going to use language models as an example. ChatGPT. Yeah. That started out when it was just ChatGPT 1. It was a data set of I don't know 1 billion data points or whatever.
Yeah.
That obviously took time, and that was the main cost of creating.
Yeah.
ChatGPT 4, which is the one that's coming out now, is something crazy like 56. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's infinitely larger than ChatGPT 1. With deep fakes, it's the same thing. It's only going to get better with with more data being fed into the machine, and therefore cheaper to reproduce.
Yeah. The more you do it, the more it's like anything technologically, the more you do, the cheaper it gets. And also, you got to remember as well, some of these actors still demand $20-30 million to appear in a movie.
Well, that's what I was going to say is look at just Yellowstone right now. Kevin Costner is causing the show to be shut down because he went from $50 million an episode and is now asking for $60 million an episode. It's like, okay,
you don't mean 50.
No, I'm pretty sure it's 50 and 60 million. It
per
is
episode.
That would make it the most expensive show ever made. I know it's expensive, but
it's the most expensive show ever made, and he's the highest paid actor on TV right now, and nobody talks about it because it's all like it's middle America stuff.
He's not just the highest paid; he's like by 50 times. I mean,
oh yeah,
he's getting like $1 million, maybe $2 million an episode, but 50.
He's causing the show to be shut down. Like I love Kevin Costner. I haven't watched Yellowstone, but Taylor Sheridan's like, dude, we can't pay you that. We're already doing like an astronomical number. And it makes sense.
It's like 10 episodes, isn't it?
It's rating in 1.3 million per episode as of last year.
I bet it's more like $50-60 million per season. That would make, but that is still astronomical.
Well, no, he's the highest paid person. I don't know where that number is coming from, because I read an article. I think it was off of IMDb Pro.
I've just had a quick Google. Highest paid actor per episode, Kevin Costner. First result, Daily Mail. Obviously, don't read into it. It's a Daily Mail. But then you've got Insider saying it. You've got Opera, you've got Business Insider. Yeah. It's
But it's per season. You've seen there, Harris, don't it? Because it's
maybe it's $50 million an episode, and he takes up too much of a chunk of that. That might be what I'm thinking.
The budget of the episode. I see what you mean. Yeah. It's a $50 million an episode is insane. That's 10 times what Stargate's going to cost.
Yeah, Game of Thrones is what 20 million an episode.
Yeah, and it's a bloody Western, for God's sake. It's cheap. It should be cheap.
Yeah, it's Succession done in the Midwest, and I don't know why it's that expensive. I guess it all being that practical probably makes it that expensive. But at the same time, I guess the long point going back to the original thing is if someone like that is, I mean, you don't think of Kevin Costner as the highest paid actor on TV. I mean, he is, and it makes sense when you like really think about it. But just off the top of your head, that's not the person you think of. And if he can do that just by his lonesome, I'm pretty sure we can find a half dozen YouTubers that can make a fake Kevin Costner look pretty real and make him say some really good things and make it seem well. Maybe not act. Like, that's the hardest thing. Like Luke in Book of Boba Fett, even, he looked a lot better, but he wasn't really acting. He was just saying a couple sentences that they needed him to say. There were emotions on his face, but I think that's the hardest part, is just getting that true performance out of it. But it's not that far away.
I think a lot of the cost with deep fakes is not so much in the visual, but the audio. Because audio deepfakes have historically been awful. But the reason I bring that up is I watched a video. It's a new thing from Google. It's called Soundstorm. And it is insane. Like, you feed in a sentence that some person has said. They record a sentence. You can then rewrite that, and it sounds exactly like the person, with the inflections, with the ums, with the ahs, with the with the all of that, and it's insane.
It's not great at accents, though, is it? I think.
Oh no, this is.
They did it with and it was a Scottish guy, and he came back and he found it very English. So it didn't quite get the accent right, but it sounded like him, but it sounded like him speaking with an English accent, sort of thing. But still, that's insane. And I don't think that's particularly expensive, because we're seeing a lot of that now. We're seeing songs released. People are creating Oasis tracks and stuff, and it sounds like Oasis.
That's the thing.
The more data you have, the cheaper it is.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all seen Corridor Crew, the channel. They do a bunch of like VFX reacts and all kinds of stuff. But
they did the Tom Cruise thing.
They did what?
They did the Tom Cruise thing.
Oh yeah. That's why I think it's going to be cheaper in the future, is because you could pay for someone to actually do the physicalities of the performance, have the emotions of the performance. They did their own version of Luke Skywalker after the first one that looked better than the first one, not as good as the second one, but better than the first one. And you have an actual performance, and you could pay someone a hell of a lot less of money to be standing in a room with a bunch of green screens, and then put them in that same environment and not have to pay for Kevin Costner. But at the same time, some of the things they've done with voices, as long as you can train that AI, same thing with pictures, you can keep training it and have it get closer and closer and closer. And then it's your voice after 4,000 hours, 40,000 hours of inputted data in there. But after us being on YouTube for a while, it's going to be easy to make fake us's. I'm knock on wood.
Sure. I think moving forward, there'll be people. There'll be someone.
You can't copy it.
It might be me.
You can't copy this money maker. Come on.
There are 8 billion people on this planet. I wouldn't put it above half of them.
I think in the future, I guess this is probably why they're all on strike. This is probably part of the reason. But as this technology progresses, as it gets easier and easier to do a deepfake video, but also audio, whether you're completely replacing someone, the cost is going to come from the rights to that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Am I right in thinking that's part of the what the strike is how are they going to get paid because of the implications of, essentially, I'm going to give you essentially my voice, I'm going to give you my face, you can then use it for whatever you want, but whatever you use it, I want to get paid somehow.
It's like it's like when you got Coke in McDonald's, right? It's actually, to make the Coke costs about 3p, a large Coke. But they then have to pay Coca-Cola 90 pence to a pound, just for the image, because it's got Coca-Cola written on it. So it's the licenses. It's going to be the same, isn't it? You're still going to be paying Bruce Willis's estate for his rights or whatever the contract is. But I've got to go in a minute, guys. But the one thing I was going to talk about quickly, at the end of the day, the studios are skint All of the studios are struggling financially. Even Amazon Prime is struggling financially right now. They massively overstretched themselves, and now they're like, people. I said it in the video. People aren't at home just ordering loads and loads of stuff off us because they've gone back to work. Weird. I don't know what they were thinking with COVID. They thought it was going to go on forever. But anyway, Disney, $500 million a quarter. They're all struggling. I honestly think a big part of this is they do not want to pay more residuals. They do not want to pay a higher minimum wage. They do not want to pay more money to everybody because that's what they're going to have to do. Whatever deal the writers get, the actors are going to want, the directors are going to want, the producers are going to want. And they don't want to pay. Netflix is a couple of billion quid in debt. They don't want to admit what their residuals are because they'll have to pay more, and they don't want to. So I think they're willing to have a strike for a bit to try to squeeze every penny out of this deal that they possibly can. And I think that's what it comes down to. I don't think it matters about AI. I think they're more than willing just to go, look, we won't hire AIs as people, right? That's an easy way of doing it. An AI cannot be on the cast as a person. So writers, directors, everything just sorts that out. They'd have to do something different for deepfakes and actors and things. But you cannot use scripts generated by an AI. It's done. They're not going to be bought. That's easy. But I think it's more about residuals and the minimum wage, which I always forget the name of. What do they call it? How is the minimum wage? It's paper scale. Sorry.
Oh yeah, paper scale. Yeah.
So I think that's what it's more about.
I think there's definitely an AI aspect to it because I don't think, especially with the writers, we might be reaching into like probably what the next strike will be about for acting and stuff with the likenesses of Bruce Willis and I guess some of the technicalities there will be like, are you paying for the full likeness or are you paying for his looks? Are you paying for his voice? Because that you could definitely have different cost sets and all that kind of stuff for people's likeness and those different variables. But it's mainly about residuals. Where I guess the writers do have a little bit of the AI where like, okay, it can't be a fully AI written script, but maybe you could use AI for some of the concepts and these things, but it still needs to be, the credit should go to the person, et cetera, et cetera. It's about residuals. Like you just said, Netflix is all about streaming. And if they have to start paying residuals like cable residuals for streaming stuff, they're bankrupt immediately. Like it's not like in a quarter and 2 quarters in a year or two. No, they're bankrupt tomorrow if they have to do that. Just the amount of content.
Scenario. If let's say we live in a world where AI is a massive part of Hollywood, and they've got AI actors, they got AI voices, all stuff like this. So it's all based on famous people that we know, and they're getting paid let's say they're getting paid fairly. What happens in this scenario where, say you've got Bruce Willis, you have his face, but you make him black? It's no longer Bruce Willis. Or you pitch his voice up, so it's changed slightly. It's no longer Bruce Willis's voice, but it is Bruce Willis's voice. It's just pitched up.
Yeah, the whole thing again.
How would that work? Because
my first question is, have you paid for the likeness already, or are you just taking stuff from the internet and
you already have a deal? Let's say it's already commonplace. Like all these actors have signed their likenesses and their voices away years and years and years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But there's going to be a scenario where, I don't know, best example, let's say Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder, where he's black.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, that was him doing it. But if they did that, and he didn't necessarily know they were going to do that, but they have the rights, what does that like? What happens after that?
I think
it'll have to be in the
contract, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
No, but if they've already signed, if they've already signed, like Bruce Willis, for example, if he's already signed his likeness away now, in 10 years, 20 years time, when it's advanced so much, and like it's progressed to a point where they're just using it, like it's commonplace to do it.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
It's like a legacy contract that they like. It probably there'll be parts of that contract they can just like get around because it's legacy. It's like they signed it 20 years ago.
Well, he's got to. I guess I don't know exactly how it works, but he's got to have like a contract with his estate. So his estate now has permission to do everything for him. and they're the ones who are. I think it's going to be based on each individual contract. It's not going to be like blanketing the same contract he has with his estate. It's going to be like, for this project, we're going to do this, or this. And within that, he just, or his estate essentially just has to read into it and read well, because they're either signing. Yeah, they're either saying you have to use Bruce Willis as Bruce Willis, or they have enough kind of like gray area where the people that are making the movie or TV show or whatever, they can do whatever they want to after.
I know what you mean, though. They just change it 25% sort of thing. They change it 25% so they can get around the legal things, and then
they pitch him down, and it's not necessarily Bruce Willis, but it is technically, because if you pitch it down again, you've got his voice.
Yeah, but I think, mate, there's already precedent for a lot of this, because it's basically going to go into copyright law, and this is already well established, like logos and things. But at the end of the day, somebody would have to sue. It's the same with anything, really. If you do something wrong, or I could go on now and start calling myself McDonald's tomorrow. I could open a restaurant and call it McDonald's, and there's nothing legally to stop me, except McDonald's, if they decide to, can take me to court, and then a judge can rule and say you're not allowed to call yourself McDonald's. And that's basically how it works. So
it would be like trademark.
It would be like trademarked. So you would, say a movie was released and all the way through you're thinking that looks an awful lot like Bruce Willis. The Bruce Willis estate would have to basically take that project to court and say that. Do you remember a few years ago over here there was I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world, and then the Barbie Mattel phoned the record. You don't have permission to do that. So they took them to court, and the record company just had to give all the profits to Mattel.
Like Disney is infamous for screwing over like little kids that draw Mickey Mouse on like a plate and put it on their like school wall. They're like, sue the school. Like Disney's done like stuff like that all the time. Someone tried to put like Mickey Mouse on their kids, like their kid that died prematurely, like at a young age. They tried to put it on their tombstone, and Disney was like, nope, not happening. And they've done that a couple times. I guess a good example for like the whole voice aspect of thing, changing voices, is just think about the Go Old. I'm assuming it'd be a similar contract to that in a way, where they have ability to play with your voice after the fact, but
I still think this is a future argument for the actors, though. I don't think this is, but this is. I think
that's what it's an interesting point of view, because just think of how far could this go, kind of thing, and just play devil's advocate a bit with it, and just
well, we're already
what you guys thought, really.
But what was a gimmick a year ago is all of a sudden becoming reality. Oh yeah, it was a gimmick a year ago when Brad Wright fed all of those scripts into an AI. Google sponsored it, and they spat out a new script. All the writers are going, well, that's based on my work, technically. I mean, no,
I think
it was a gimmick.
David Blue talked about this on the Shuttle Pod. I think it might have been something else I watched. I'm pretty sure it was David Blue. He basically was talking about the AI and was saying it's all very well and good. I'm going to paraphrase, but essentially it's all very well and good having these AIs. Yeah, they can generate some really good scripts, but it's all based on work previously done. You're taking all the creativity out of it, and all the writers who are going to think up new ideas are no longer in the picture.
Yeah. But also they're going to be suing, saying, okay, this might be a different thing, but it's based on my work. I want royalties.
But the point he was making, I think, was us audiences are going to notice it as well, because it's just going to be, well, this is literally the scene from this show 20 years ago.
Just reworked
and added onto this scene from this other show. Because that's all ChatGPT is a load of works just added together and spun to make sense. It's plagiarism at its finest.
Yeah, like you go in there asking it like, hey, ChatGPT, write me a Quentin Tarantino styled short script that's 2 pages long about da-da-da-da. It can bring it up, but I mean, it's going to feel like it could fit in a Tarantino movie because it probably did at a certain point, or half of it did over here, then the other half of the scene fit in there, and it's just kind of piecemealing it together and in a very logical and clear, concise way that lets us understand that this is Tarantino's kind of style, but hey, if you do Stargate Tarantino style or Star Trek Tarantino style, like they've been talking about for a while,
I think it goes very clinical as well, the way it does it, because
very
the way ChatGPT is, it's going to analyze the text and it's going to look for patterns.
Yeah,
that's how it's going to determine if it's a Tarantino or if it's a
David
Stargate,
Lynch.
whatever, like a whatever it is style script. It's going to look at previous works from that body from that IP, look for patterns, and then recreate those patterns, which is very clinical. And have either of you seen the AI thing from the Companion?
Yeah.
The Companion?
Yeah, the Stargate AI thing.
Oh yeah.
I've not seen it, but I'm imagining because it's literally just it would have been fed all of Stargate, so all of SG1, all of Atlantis, all of SGU. Did it feel genuine, or did it feel a little bit clinical?
No, it felt but it was the actors doing it though, didn't it? So they put all their little things on it and everything.
I suppose that's the difference there, isn't it? Yeah.
It felt genuine almost because I mean there were definitely times it's like not genuine at all. You're like, oh, that's an AI wrote that, you know. But a lot of it felt more genuine because Brad Wright was hosting it, and you had all the other actors in there just having a good time and talking Stargate again and able to do it through their own characters, so it made it feel cool. But
okay, I'll reword. Did it feel disjointed?
Parts, not really, but parts.
Okay, because that I do play with ChatGPT quite a bit. I'm fascinated with AI. I use it for absolutely everything. Like 9 chevrons, I don't do it all the time, but sometimes I'll write an article, I'll feed it to ChatGPT, and I will just see what it spits out. And if it's good, I'll use it. And if after time it's not, it's shit. And it just makes shit up. Like I had this idea. I think we talked about this, where I was going to make like a Wikipedia of all Stargate.
Yeah.
So I was like, I literally said to ChatGPT, write me a 500-word article on the Goa'uld, and it started off so well, and then started making shit up. I'm like, you're literally reading things that already exist. Why are you making it up?
It doesn't make sense. Like I told you, I was playing around with the Eris Bach stuff. I was like, let me write a little Eris Bach Jr. or something. And I was like, okay, I've got like 20 characters that I really like that I've just played around with, and then I would say, okay, figure this out and put them in this spaceship or do this or that, or you know, and then it would literally just write a whole different story. I would say like, no, do what I told you to do, and then go back and do this. I hate how you have to talk to it like sometimes like a
child.
Like a child that's in trouble because that AI is gonna be pissed off one day. It's gonna be like, all these people talk to me so bad, but listen, we try to keep.
When the robot's uprise, go. Remember that time you spoke to me like shit?
It's like
remember that time you spoke to me like I was an idiot.
I honestly don't think at this stage writers have much to worry about with ChatGPT. I don't. Yeah, in the future it will get better. ChatGPT 4 is supposed to be like insane.
Well,
but I've not played around before. It's not out yet.
I'm gonna go because I can hear that my wife has finished doing her hair, so that is my cue. She's going to get out in like 2 minutes.
I'm going to go in a minute as well. I'm going to go watch Manifest. But yeah,
behind the piano.
You do love Manifest. She's hiding behind the piano. Yes, she's on the she's in the 3rd dining room. Doing her hair in the library.
She's in the West Wing.
She's in the West Wing. I'm going to go watch. But yeah, guys, Matt, let's do this more often because we can talk about stuff that's not sci-fi. We can use your channel.
Come on. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, news any day of the week.
Tuesdays are good for me because the wife goes out.
Yeah. I'm down for that.
And
I think I'm going to jump off as well because I said to my missus I'll be half an hour and I've been here for 44 minutes. So.
and I've been here for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Matt, thank you so much, mate, for earlier. And Harry Harris, as always.
Thank you for helping me figure this out. Appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm just going to just write something else that's embarrassing. I like.
Oh God, he's thinking. We're going to talk about some Transformers. I might take a gravity bong hit at the end of this, but we'll keep talking for a few minutes. Do y'all have anything else you want to talk about?
You can think of anything to embarrass somebody. You can't think of anything.
I'm embarrassing myself. I'll give you some ammo in a couple minutes if you're not careful.
I thought of it.
Shelly says I should go comb my hair. I'll just do this. Well, or elsewhere because there's no filter on this channel.
the bum home.
Are you monetized yet, Harris? Can we say what we like?
We got time for that.
Let's get you. Well, I tell you what, man. Let's start getting. I didn't write it, Shelley. It was Harris who wrote that.
I didn't write it. That was Matt.
I didn't write it.
It wasn't. It fucking was not me.
Surprise! Stormy's actually here in the background. He's just typing. He's not actually here.
But let's do some lives where we can talk about whatever the hell we want. Well, we can talk about stuff that's not sci-fi, and let's get lots and lots of subscribers on here.
Hey, please come on.
Right, I will see you guys Sunday, probably.
Yeah.
No, you won't see me Sunday. It's Father's Day. I'm going out.
Oh yeah, shit, it's Father's Day. Oh, we might have to skip Sunday.
Yeah,
because
my missus said to me, "Oh, good. Are you doing this?" Because we did the side trip just before this. Are you doing this because you're not doing it on Sunday? I went, "Why would I do it on Sunday?" She went, "Father's Day. We're going like out for a meal." And oh shit, oh okay.
Father's Day, we should have to go to one, right? I want to do sidetrack. So, yeah, we might not be live Sunday, but we'll see. All right then, guys. See you later. Have a good one.
Thank y'all for joining, and go see Transformers so we can talk about it.
I'm not going to go see Transformers because I hate the Transformers movies. But
the second best.
I'm going to watch The Flash when it comes out.
I'm watching The Flash on Saturday so we can talk The Flash.
Yes, it's gonna be fun.
All right. So let's.
Thank you, Laura. All right, see y'all. Yeah, so we'll just talk Transformers over here for a little bit.